Welcome to the Trader a Traitors podcast. This is Matthew. I'm a writer working in TV development, and I am a handy fiveful. The Trader features deep dives into every episode of the multi-award winning hit TV competition show The Traitors, as well as interviews with contestants from the shows. And this is one such episode, an interview special. Let's find out who I'm chatting to today. My special guest was a highlight of the Traitors Australia season 2, thanks to the comic relief he brought, his fantastic one-liners, and of course, style for days. Welcome to the Trader, Roha. Roha, how you going?
Hello, I am good, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to spill all the tea and let's just get into it.
I'm very excited as well. Are you ready to be grilled on some hard-hitting issues?
Yes, of course, I'm here for it. I'm like an open
Excellent.
book, I'm ready.
Now, the time difference between us actually isn't too bad. I interviewed Camille yesterday, and I think Camille was like 10 hours ahead of me. We're like
Oh my
7 hours,
God.
I think. So we're not too bad.
Yeah, yeah.
And it must,
We're on
is
the
it
other
cut?
side.
Yeah, not quite so far. And it must be, it's getting colder here. Does that mean it's getting warmer where you are? Are you
Oh
moving
my
into
God, it
summer?
is getting so warm. I think it was like 38 today. It was so hot. I was like, oh my God, but I'm living for it. I miss the hot weather.
I'm in Scotland, so 38 is just unthinkable for me. Outrageous.
Oh my
Now,
God.
before I launch into all of my questions for you, Roha, I'm going to introduce our game, which is called the Trader Traitor. Our not so secret mission for this entire interview is to deceive one another. So our goal is to tell an
Oh,
undetected lie. It could be a lie about the show, about ourselves, about anything in the whole world, as long as it is a complete and utter fabrication, big or small. And we're looking for fake facts as opposed to fake opinions. So you can't pretend you feel a certain way. For example,
okay.
you could lie and tell me that since the Traitors filming, you and Elias have married and moved into a trailer together.
Oh my
However,
God, I wish.
that would be lovely, and I would believe it. However, you couldn't lie about an opinion and say, actually, you secretly hate Elias. That would be very cruel. Why would you say that? And also, it would be a fake opinion and it wouldn't count. Does the game make
Okay,
sense?
the game makes sense.
Okay. Are you prepared to take it further than you did in the actual show, The Tracers?
Of course.
Okay, that
I'm
was a
here
low
for it.
blow. I'm sorry, that was quite shady of me. I'm very sorry. Forgive me. So, our game begins now. So, firstly, Roha, had you watched season 1 of The Traitors Australia or any other versions of the show?
Look, to be honest, I watched a few of the episodes. Um, I kind of only fast forwarded to when Teresa was on screen because she's super iconic. And so I kind of just only watched her, really. She was my favorite, and we're good friends outside the game. So it's really, really cool to just see what season one had to offer, but also like just see a friend killing it on the screen.
I love Teresa, interviewed her on the podcast, and you're right, just iconic in so many ways. So
She
fabulous.
was. She definitely was.
So, I mean, in retrospect, do you feel like you think I should have watched more, maybe I should have known more about the show, or actually do you think it was quite good to go in really not having preconceptions and having other versions of it like mess with your mind?
I think you're like, it's almost like, how do I explain it? It's like a win lose situation because I think that if you binge watch like the shows in other seasons, you kind of are setting yourself up for overthinking. Um, Whereas, to be honest, I just played the game and just, I don't know, watched how people acted and everything. Didn't really overthink too much. But yeah, it was, to be honest, I don't think it was a downfall to me being murdered.
And was it your intention to serve us nothing but iconic looks in the hotel?
Oh, 100%. Is that what I'm there for? The money and to give screen, like to serve looks? That's what I was there for, to be honest. You should have seen my wardrobe.
Well, it worked. And how relieved were you not to be murdered in the first episode and only remembered for that one shirt?
Oh my God. And do you know what? Now people are calling me the blue shirt guy, and I hate it. I'm like, oh my God, that thing, I need to burn it.
Now, I promise all my questions aren't about fashion, but I do have one more. Please talk us
Yes.
through the Adidas tracksuits. Please tell me you still have it. And are we favoring red or navy?
Well, I'm a red kind of boy, so I love the red tracksuit. It was my favorite. And I'm so glad I got to keep it. Um, I know a few people didn't get take the pants, so I was like, no, I'm taking these pants as well. I'm taking the full look. But yes, I do have it. The Adidas tracksuit was always giving. I said to them, I need to go down a size in my pants because I need to give some kind of shape. I was like, I'm not having it baggy, no way.
It's funny you say that because so many contestants are like, I hate those tracksuits. Oh, I'm so sick of them. But you really enjoyed it. So I enjoyed that.
Oh my God, I love it. Well, I mean, like, I love sports. So being in tracksuits is like the norm for me. I teach dance in tracksuits. So it's like a vibe. So yeah, no, it was cool. And honestly, we get to have our name on the back of it. So can't complain.
Yeah, very like totally personalized for you. What a treat. I spoke to Camille yesterday and I said to Camille that I was interviewing you today. So she actually has a couple of questions for you. So this is from Camille. This is
Oh
question
my
one from Camille.
God, exciting. Okay, shoot.
She asked, and maybe you've kind of answered this already. She asked, were you really there to play the game and find traitors, or was it maybe just a bit more lighthearted and fun for you? How were you approaching it?
To be honest, like I was there to win the money, of course. Like that's what I signed up for. But I mean, I am not going to dim my light to um what like I guess in a way to find traders. So I mean what you see is what you get. So yes, I was definitely there to find traders, and I'm not gonna lie, like we all know I always had an opinion on something. So it wasn't like I was just sitting back and chilling. Like I wasn't not on the hunt for traders, but um I guess people found that me and Hannah were always together. So it was like we were never trader hunting. So it was a bit of like, look, it was a bit of both, but I was definitely there to win the money. I was so upset that I got murdered.
Yeah. And one of my favorite early moments of you on the show was in episode one. And I think it was episode one in the banishment. Um, Sarah had used the wrong term during the episode. She talked about murdering someone, and she meant to say banishment. We think,
Mm.
and you were sort of trying to pin her down for this in the banishment room. And when she denied it, you immediately turned to Annabelle for receipts. So do you think
Period.
it was really funny? It was that you were so direct about it, and you were like, "Well, I have proof." Do you think being that direct kind of maybe got you in trouble? Like, do you think maybe that's a reason you got murdered? Because the traitors thought, oh, Roha's really quite direct in banishment room. That could be bad for us.
I think so. I think because I was not scared to say what I think, I look, and My biggest thing is I will not say anything unless I have receipts. Facts are facts and receipts are receipts, baby. Like we need to make sure we have those ready. So when that incident happened, I knew I was like, Annabelle, you were there. So, girl, you better have my back right now. So that's how I turned straight to her. I'm like, Annabelle, speak. I'm like, say it. Confirm what had happened because you were there. And like, they didn't really see it, but I was literally like, girl, did you hear that? And she's like, yeah, I heard that. I was like, okay, good.
Yeah.
But I mean,
And
look, it was a bit of getting messy, but like, someone has to start the drama. Come on, let's be honest.
yeah, well, it is a TV show after all. So we need entertainment. And of course, Roger even quoted you in the banishment room. How was that? Because it was joyous for us.
Oh my God, I gagged. It was so funny. I was literally like, when he said it, I was like, period. That is right. Come with your receipts, honey. Don't come with half a story and say, oh, I heard it from someone. I'm not going to say who. Say who. Spit it out.
And please tell me, please don't ruin my illusion. Please tell me Roger was lovely because I'm slightly in love with Roger. So
Oh my God, aren't we all? He is so lovely. He is amazing. He's an amazing host. He's really cool.
oh, one day the goal is to interview Roger, and I'm manifesting it right now. I'm manifesting it every day, to be honest.
Oh my
That's what
God, I love that for you. I hope that comes true.
now you mentioned Hannah already, and I was going to ask you about that. You were really close to Hannah and Ash as well, by the looks of it. Why do you think you got on so well with those two players?
Oh my God, it's so like so strange. But when we did the arrivals, I wasn't expecting there to be like celebrities and influencers or anything like that. So when I pulled up to the train station and they didn't get it in the clip, but I was just like, I saw Hannah and I asked her, I was like, oh, what was your name? And she's like, Hannah. I was like, wait, I like Hannah? I was like, you look so familiar. And then Guyton asked her, oh, what was it like filming Below Deck? My mouth dropped. I was like, oh my God, you're like the Hannah that got like fired. And she goes, no, it's a long story. So we instantly clicked and I was like, she's going to be fun. So when we arrived, I just knew that like it was going to be a cool time with her. We were just chit chatting, getting to know each other. Um, and then like throughout the episodes, like yeah, Ash came along and became like real chit chatty to us, and yeah, it was really cool, and like we had this thing, and I've heard her speak about it on other podcasts. We had a bit of a run in. And me and Ash, but like ever since then, we're like super cool. It was like she basically called us civilians, and I don't know why, but in the moment I took it as um like offensive. So she was like, oh my God, there's like celebrities, influencers, and civilians. And I was like, oh my God, did she really just call me a civilian? I was like, but so then we like talked about it, and I was just like, oh my God. And then she's like, no, babes, it's just how I am. I'm not going to mince my words and all of that. And then after that, we're like so chill. We're so good.
uh,
And we
I
looked pretty in pink.
well, exactly, exactly. Uh, question two from Camille now. She asked about this moment with Ash that we see in one of the episodes. I think it's like episode two or three.
Mm.
Ash has this slip. I think she's talking about Sam asking her to sort of team up, and she used the word traitors by accident. She kind of accidentally admitted she was a traitor,
Yeah,
and then
by the
quickly was like,
pool.
"Oh, I said the wrong thing." Yeah, yeah, by the pool. And did did you immediately just sort of laugh that off and think, oh, she just said the wrong word, like haha, or did any part of you think, wait a minute, was that like a real Freudian slip? Like what was your reaction to that moment?
I mean, look, the camera tells it all. We laughed about it and we're just like, oh my God, that was so funny. But then me and Hannah walked away and we're actually like what the F just happened? Like, did you hear that? And she's like, yes. And so we really talked about it. But in a way, me and Hannah didn't make too much of an effort, which was really noticed by everybody, in going to talk to other people. So me and her would just sit and talk by ourselves. And obviously, look, it wasn't like we're acting like we're royalty, but everybody came to us. We fairly went around. But to be honest, yes, we did have our suspicions, but didn't really dive too much into it. And I don't think it was because we were loyal to her or we owed her any loyalty or things like that. But we already kind of had our suspicions on other people's. And I think it was like we had facts and we had receipts. We didn't have facts or receipts with Ash. Ash was exactly the same person that she was when she walked into to us, how she was throughout the game. So it was, to me, like I didn't see a change like how Sam was portraying it to be. But I mean, look, everybody gets competitive when you play any kind of sports. Like, I mean, I guess people don't really play sports and people don't know how to compete, but I am a sucker for competition. So when he said that, like, oh, you are like the real Ash comes out. I'm like, of course, like I'm here to win. Like I get mad if I don't win. Did you see how salty my face was when we lost the first mission? Are you kidding?
I want to ask a bit more about Ash actually, but before I do
Mm.
get to her banishment, did you ever suspect? I think the answer is going to be no, but did you ever suspect Hannah might be a traitor?
Um, look, I think if we were going to, like, if she was to be picked as a traitor, I think it would have, like, I think our friendship would have been different on the show. So I not once ever considered that she was a traitor because of how close we were. And I mean, camera doesn't do it justice, but I mean, it was so funny because I went in with the mentality of working at a normal retail store, but I work in luxury fashion and I own a dance studio. So I was like, anything that is like that in performing arts and stuff, and like if I can sell to high-end clients, I can sell a story. So it's like that kind of would have put a target on my back. So I was like, no, I'm just going to say I work in normal retail, I sell shoes. And then Hannah was the first person I told, and I literally said to her, I was like, babes, I've got something to tell you. And she's like, oh no, what? And I was just like, I don't actually sell shoes for a living. And she goes, oh, babes, I knew that. She was like, you're too fabulous to be selling shoes for a living. Are you kidding? And then I was literally like, I own a dance company and I work in luxury fashion. She's like, what brand do you work for? And I was like, I work for Gucci. But it was so like yeah, it was crazy. And like our friendship, like I never would, like from then on, after me telling her, I knew that she wasn't a traitor. Because I said to her, sorry, this is where I was going. I said to her, oh, I'm thinking I'd just tell everybody at breakfast the next morning. And she's like, because this is me being totally oblivious to how this game's played. She's like, what? And be called out, like, catch yourself out for lying? Are you kidding? I was like, I don't know. Like, she's like, no, do not do that. I was like, okay, cool. So then I knew, like, okay, this girl is definitely not a traitor.
Yeah, yeah. And on to Ash's banishment then. It seemed to me like you were one of the few who wasn't really charmed by Sam's lies. So he was trying to frame Ash, and Ash was a traitor, but he was acting like
Mm.
he was a faithful, and he just discovered that she was a traitor, and he was claiming that she was turning everyone against Hannah. But in the banishment room, you were very clear that you didn't believe this, and that you thought Sam was the one who was doing the scheming. Does that mean you were always suspicious of Sam?
Well, I just think when I think it all made sense when Luke and who was it? Luke and
Annabelle?
Ash were in, no,
Oh.
when Luke and Ash were at breakfast. And he told, like, when I saw that episode, I was like, oh my God, this makes sense. Because then we were in the car on our way to the next mission, and she brought up Sam's name. And I was like, okay. Like, yes, I was super suspicious of him because he was just like almost flying under the radar, but not. Like, he was like mysteriously controlling these situations. And I was like, what is happening? So I noticed it. Hannah noticed it. We talked about it. And then I was like, okay, I'll go and get the intel from the boys. And Hannah, you go and get intel from um, some other people. And so we all went to work and we all went to go and find out what the tea was. And I tell you, like when I sat down, he was like, so who are you thinking of voting? I was like, I don't know. Who are you guys thinking? And he said, we're thinking Hannah. And I was just like, I'm sorry. Like I was gagged. And he was just like, yeah, we're all thinking Hannah. And I was like, Luke, are you kidding? Um, and then what happened? Oh, yeah. And then I said to him, I was like, would a traitor literally like console you and hug you when Corinne got murdered? Like, Hannah is not a traitor. And then he was just like, oh, yeah, but like, and I was like, but nothing. I was like, okay, cool, thank you. Went straight back, sat down with the girls, and I was like, girl, he brought up your name. And then they were just like, are you fucking serious? And then so when all of this stuff happened in banishment, I was just like, are you joking? I was like, Sam, you're the one that brought up her name. I was like, and then he tried to deny it. And that was it for me. I was just like, no, you're not going to sit here and lie and act like you didn't say it. And that's why I turned to Luke. I was like, Luke, you need to say something right now because you know he said it. I was like, and I looked at Blake and I was like, are you guys going to say something or am I going to be the only one that says this?
Yeah.
Because y'all all heard that. So it
And
was so annoying.
a follow up to that then, I guess, is how how did Sam last so long? Because it seems like you picked up what you said that you could see that he was kind of controlling situations. I and I know it's different as a viewer, and there's so much we don't see, but it seems mind blowing that people didn't pick up on Sam. Like, so how do you think he got away with it all?
Well, I just think that, look, and this is no shade. I mean, I just think that Annabelle and Luke, like, didn't bring us in on the information. And I was just like, oh my God, so you guys have known. Like, watching the show back, I'm like, you guys knew this whole time? Like, I was like, are you kidding? And so I was just like, had they had have come to me and said, like, okay, we're thinking of that, I was like, yes, period. Like, we need to get him gone. Because I knew straight away that he was a traitor when I seen him. Sorry, when I saw him say that I was a liar. Like, once that happened, I was like, no, he's a traitor. 100% a traitor. And so like I seen everybody else with these like alliances and like talking to other people. And I was just like, wait, like, yes, I know Sam is one too. Like, why are we all not going for, like, when are we all going to go for him? Was like the question.
Yeah.
But I just think everybody was so scared. And I don't know, like, why? Because I think I was the only one that voted for. No, was I the only one? I can't remember. But I voted for him during the Ash banishment.
Ashes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Because I was like, one, you're not going to sit there and lie about me. Because Hannah was so like confused about what was going on. She's like, wait, why is my name being brought out? I was like, he's the one that's the one sitting next to you is the one that brought it out.
So you were then murdered at the beginning of episode five of the four or five.
Yeah,
And
episode
Sam's
5.
at start of five. And Sam's reasoning was that he wanted to break up you and Hannah and then get Hannah on his side. I could
Oh
what did you
my
think about that
God.
reasoning? Like, could you
Can
see
I
why?
insert an eye roll? Oh my God.
Do you think that was the real reason, or do you think it was a good reason?
No, I don't think that was the reason at all because he had minions in there that were like taking the lead from him. So I just think it was because one, I put myself out there and I labeled him as a liar, so he had to get rid of me. That's what I think it was.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was to um, get closer to Hannah. Well, look, it may have been his intentions, but it would never be what me and her had. So, I mean, look, I roll that he murdered me because of that, because that's a shitty excuse.
And did you think you were in danger that morning? Like, were you expecting to go?
Oh my God, not at all. I was fully blindsided. Like I was completely shook when um, I had been told that I had been murdered. And look, I had the best outfit on as well. I was like, all of my outfits from episode 5 to 9 were all just, they were about to eat. And I was so upset that I didn't get to wear them. But I had like these Louis Vuitton blue pants on. I was wearing like a red boot heel and a plain jumper. And when they told me I was murdered, I was completely shook. I was like, I started, look, let me just spill the tea. I'll just say it. I started to cry.
Oh no.
I literally started to cry. And they're like, are you okay? I was like, you murdered me in this outfit? I was like, it wasn't anything else apart from like leaving Hannah. Like that was the hardest thing. And I begged and pleaded with production to like, please just let me say bye. And they wouldn't let me. But that's
Oh.
fine. But yeah, I literally had head to toe was like Louis and like everything else was just designer from there. And I was just so upset that I didn't get to wear it. So I had to cry.
And it must, well, how did it feel then to watch subsequent episodes and see that Hannah was also so upset? And from then on, she was kind of like, I must get revenge for Roha. Like, how did it feel to see that on screen?
Oh my God. I think we all like everybody felt it when that shorts got released or like the reel got released on Instagram of the breakfast and like them waiting to see who was going to walk through. And when they said that it was just me and Luke left to come through, like I think she knew that I wasn't going to come through those doors. And you could just hear it in her voice. It was just like so sad. And then when she said, I'll be happy for Luke to go. If that means I get to play the game with the row. But oh my God, it was just look, it was so cool watching her and like look, it would have been so much better playing alongside her. But I mean, it is what it is. They killed me.
Yeah. And you maybe can't tell us about how you find out about who the traitors were, but whenever you found out who the traitors were you surprised that to find out that it was Sam and Blake and then Camille?
Look, I wasn't surprised that it was Sam. Not at all. Knew that he was. Called him out for it. And then Blake, I could, like, to me, I had my suspicions. And people didn't see the car edit, but it was during the mission for when we had to build the pyramid. Um, and I was just saying to Hannah, and I think it was Ian. No, I can't remember who else was in the car, but we're driving, and I was just like, "Do you guys think that Blake is like sabotaging the games, like the missions?" Um, and they were like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "I
Is
just feel like
is
he's."
that because he got in a boat and then couldn't row
Oh,
it?
look, I'm not gonna say it. You said it. Oh my gosh. But even the chopping of the Trojan horse. Like, come on, babes, chop that thing. So like I don't know. It was that. And then there was another thing that happened that I was just like, it's real sus that, the it was the minefield.
Yeah.
And this was, no, this was when I said it. And it was, who was in the car with us? I think it was definitely me and Hannah. Look, we had this unwritten rule, and I'm just going to say it now. Anytime Hannah drives the car, I'm designated passenger. Like I'm the front passenger. Everybody else has to sit at the back. So just to clarify that, that's why we're always fronting next to each other. Okay. Anyway, back to our story. Um, we went for the minefield, and Blake was on our team. I was just like, oh my God, really? Anyway, um, he every time he went out, it blew up. And I said that to Hannah. I'm like, Boo, don't you find it strange that like every time he went out, those minefields blew up? Like he didn't like get any silver at all. And he was super eager to go out as well. He was like, oh, I can go another one. Like, Ian, if you don't want to go, I can go. And I'm just like, no, Ian's gonna go. I was like, Ian will be going. I'm like, Sissy, just think about the shield. I'm like, and the money, come on. And so me and Hannah are like trying to like gear him up to do this thing. It was so funny. But yeah, Blake, I had my suspicions after the minefield situation, because I was just like, it was funny that every time he went, it was blowing up. So, and Camille, oh, I was gagged. Like when they recruited her, I was like, yes, Soleil, like she is, look, she's going to, if she goes all the way to the end, she's going to eat them up. So it was like her, I was happy that she was a traitor obviously after I got murdered, but she like really would not have suspected her. Like she played the game really well.
Yeah. And what was your reaction to that finale, that moment when Camille destroys Sam's dream? What was it like for
my
you?
God. Oh my God. Oh, I was so happy. Like it was honestly, I could not stop laughing the way it happened. And the fact that those boys just sat there like gooped and gagged, and look, Blake is crying. I'm like, well, I'm sorry, Karma's a bitch. You guys were greedy. Like, why is there a need to be greedy? And that's what happens.
Yeah.
I'm like, Karma came and got you, babes. Karma bit you right on the ass. So I was
what
fully gagged, and like we were celebrating. I was literally so happy that Camille did what she did. And she's like, you're probably not going to like me anymore. And I'm like, period. Like, who cares what they think? I'm like, that's what you guys get. You want to be greedy? Oh, wow.
yeah, taste of their own medicine.
Yes, that's
Was
right.
Yeah. Was there anything you saw as a viewer, apart from finding out who the traitors were, that surprised you? Like, did you see any of the other players behave in a certain way, or were there just events that happened in the hotel that you were like, oh, I didn't even know that happened. I was totally unaware of that. I see things differently now.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, everything was like totally like different. And like it was very eye-opening how everybody else thought. And I think that the one thing everybody has to realize is the fact that we don't get to see these confessionals. So what everyone is portraying to you is not necessarily what they're portraying to us. And so obviously, like with how long these episodes take to film, um, it's just kind of like messing with your head. So like, of course, like everything that was going on and everything that was put into the show was very eye-opening. I was just like, wait, you guys had an alliance on episode one? What is the like? I was just fully just like shook that everybody had already created these alliances. Annabelle's talking about the alliance that her and her car made, and that one person is going to be picked, but we'll take that person to the end. I was just like, how is everybody thinking about this? Me and Hannah are literally like, oh, so what are you wearing tomorrow? And like, it's just, we're both just so like, I'm gonna say it's not like we weren't playing the game, but like I think we're just like, oh, there's bigger fish to fry. Like we'll just come when it counts. Like anytime we go into banishment, we're so opinionated. And I mean, look, we had facts and receipts to back ourselves up, but like it was just so strange seeing how everybody else played like the game. I didn't even know that Luke, like, until everybody started talking about it, that he was on like Survivor and Big Brother. I was like, wait, and you live in Rockingham, that's just down the road from me. So it was so funny. But like everything was such an eye opener.
Well, that leads on to one of my final questions, which is in retrospect, would you change anything about the way you played the game? Is there anything that you think, oh, I really messed that up, or I really shouldn't have done that, should have done this differently? How would you replay the game now?
To be honest, I wouldn't change the way I played the game. I think more iconic lines would be needed. But no, honestly, I feel like, look, the only thing was maybe going to speak to a few more people than what I did. But to be honest, like, I loved the game that I played. It was so much fun. The like people were just insanely crazy. Like I was just there to have a good time and win some money. So no, honestly, I wouldn't change how I played and how the game turned out in my point of view. Like I'm sad that I was murdered, but like it was just so much fun.
And in that case, would you return for an All Stars season?
Oh my God, 100%. I have got so much more to offer. What you saw was only scratching the surface, okay? So, yes, I 100% would come back for All Stars.
Excellent. I'm campaigning for it more and more every day.
Yes, yes. I think we
My
all want an All Stars.
Everyone does want an All Stars. And at first, people were suggesting this, and I was like, that's never going to happen. No way. But now, like, more and more people are talking about it. I'm like, maybe it will
Yeah.
happen. So we'll see.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
My final question for now, I, in a previous episode of the podcast, I compared you to a Kylie Minogue backing dancer because of the look you were giving us. What, what are your thoughts on the Tension album and why is it amazing?
Oh my God, it is so good. We've got where I work, I have a visual merchandiser and we're like really close at my store. And he was just like, have you heard this song? And I'm like, no. So he played, I was like, oh my God, it's so good. Like that bass drop, and then we're in the staff room choreographing dance moves to it. Like it was just, I love it. I love it. And when I showed him what you said, he was just like, oh my God, that is the biggest compliment you could ever get. I was like, I know, right? I was like, oh my God, super iconic.
Is I love it too. I got it. I bought the cassette tape like you could buy on like old cassettes for no reason
Really?
other than that it's just cool
To
and
have it.
yeah. But I just listen on my phone. But yes, also loving it. Now,
Oh my God.
before we finish our game we've been playing, Roha, tell us where we can find you online. What should we be checking out? How can we find you?
Oh my gosh, you can find me on Instagram, roha.taiapa, Taiapa, and also on TikTok with the same handle.
Excellent. Now, we've been playing a game. We've been playing the Trader Traitor. Our mission was to lie to one another and be really sneaky and be traitorous. Did you tell me a
Mhm.
lie at some point?
I did.
I also told you a lie.
Oh my
So
God.
I am going to guess your lie. I'm going to start us off. I'm
Oh my God. If you get this, I'm going to be shook.
I don't have that many options. I really didn't write down much. Like I take little notes sometimes of all the things I think people could be
Oh
lying
my
about, but
God. You were note writing?
I was note writing, but I didn't have much. So I'm gonna have to go with the one thing that I thought might have been a lie. And it was really early on. And
Yeah.
although I can also see this being true, if you're like, no, that's true, I'm not going to be surprised. Did you
Okay.
lie when you said that you and Teresa are friends?
Oh my God. No. I did not lie about that. That is the truth.
I mean, I'm happy for you, but I'm annoyed at myself.
Oh
Um,
my God.
okay, before you tell me what your lie is, please tell me about Teresa. How
Okay.
are you friends?
So we became good friends through another mutual friend. And his name was Rob Crispin. He was on The Hunted season 1 in Australia. And he actually won it. But we've been doing like a couple of collabs and stuff like that for his hairdressing company. And then I met Teresa through him. And then ever since then, we've just been like in contact and like talking about things. She was like one of the first people that I rung. And she is honestly exactly what you see on TV is exactly what you get in real life. Like she is exactly that person. Um, and yeah, it was like so funny. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I'll just say it. She was one of the first people I told when I got casted for the show. And she was like, oh my God, like I got they're gonna love you, you're gonna eat it up. And she was just giving me like nice, helpful tips and tricks. She was like, if you got something to say, make sure there's a camera on you. I was like, oh my God. But no, we are friends and she is lovely. She's doing amazing.
Yeah. And again, I interviewed her on the podcast, and even after recording, we had a chat for a while, and she was
Mm.
just lovely, so friendly, so sweet. It was really, really nice talking to her. Okay,
Yeah.
in that case, you're gonna have to reveal what did you lie about?
Okay. So I don't know if you noticed it. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to wear something to kind of give like a subtle hint. Um, but my lie was that I said I worked for Gucci.
Oh, I actually knew it. I knew that. And then I was like, no, he wouldn't lie about that.
Oh my God. Yes. And then I even dropped hints. I was like, everything after episode 5 was designer. I was wearing head to toe Louis. I even wore a Louis jumper today. I was like, I'll wear a baton jumper. It might help it, might make it easier for him. I'll drop subtle hints. And you didn't guess it. I was like, oh, I'm
I'm
a good liar.
so annoyed because I did think that could be a lie, and then I thought, no, if I say that's a lie, he's going to be offended, and he'd be like, "Excuse me."
Oh my God. No, I'm offended that you think I would work there.
And I was admiring your jumper as well, which
Oh,
is very
thank
lovely.
you.
Roha, do you have any idea what I lied to you about?
Oh my God. Um, and do you know what? I was listening to you so much, like so in depth that I was like, okay, like I believe everything. I don't know if it's your accent or if it's just the way that you speak, but I believe everything that you said. So I'm just wondering, like, can I get a little hint or anything?
No. I was,
Oh, is
I'm
this
not
not how we
giving.
play the game?
That's not how it works. I'm not giving you a
Oh
hint.
my God. Okay, well, in that case, no, I don't know what your lie was.
My lie was essentially the last thing I said before I was like, let's wrap it up. I do love Kylie and I love the Tension album. I did not buy it on cassette tape. I made that up.
Oh my God. Wow, you're a great liar. I fully believed you even made like the cassette like tape with your hands, and I'm like, okay, he actually knows what a cassette tape is. I'm like, all right, vibes. Oh my God.
I'm
I
quite
would not have
impressed.
guessed that.
That's good. Because when I was saying it, I was like, he is never going to believe that I have this cassette tape.
And you even said, I don't even know why you brought it. You just got it. I'm like, that's like me with half of my wardrobe. So I believe him.
Roha, thank you so much for joining me today on the Trader. I hope you've had a nice time.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It was a good time. I'm finally able to like spill the tea, and yeah, it was cool. Thank you.
It was so much fun, a joy, a dream. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Yes, bye.
Hello, Trader listeners. Thank you for joining me for this interview special with Roha. I hope you enjoyed listening as much as I did recording. I had a great time talking to Roha. He's really funny. We had such a laugh together. I hope you can tell. If you want to keep up to date on future interviews and future episodes of the podcast and all things Traitors, you could follow us on Instagram at the Trader Podcast or on X at the Trader Pod, or you could send me a message via email at thetraderpodcast@gmail.com. And if you're enjoying these episodes, you might also want to take a little visit to my coffee page. That's ko-fi.com/Matthew Keeley, and that's spelled MATTHEWKEELEY. It takes an awful lot of time to research and write and record and edit and deal with the distribution of the podcast and sort out the social media and the guests and all that stuff. And I really love doing the podcast, but I don't love the amount of hours it takes, and I'm not even doing it for free. In fact, it's costing me money. So if you've been listening in and you want me to keep it up, have a think about taking a visit to that page. Again, the link is in the episode description, and you might want to just put in a wee donation. It is not a subscription or a Patreon. It could be a one-off few pounds or dollars or silver bars, whatever you think a cup of tea or coffee would cost. I will be back with another interview special from the Traitors Australia Season 2, hopefully very soon. Until then, stay faithful.